2 years of marriage. My husband's first love got divorced and came back to America. That night, he didn't come home for the first time ever. When Maverick's mom once offered me $500,000 to leave him, I said no. Now I'm ready to counter. Offer $1 million and I'll sign those divorce papers. After all, her dream daughter-in-law is single again. I'm making space. She should be thrilled, right? 6 a.m., I knocked on my mother-in-law's bedroom door. 10 minutes later, the whole Sterling household was in chaos. 2 hours after that, Maverick received divorce papers with my signature already on them. That evening, I was dancing with a hot, younger guy at the club. When Maverick's people shut down the entire bar. Vivian, it's 6 in the morning. Shouldn't you be making breakfast? What kind of tantrum is this? My mother-in-law stood there furious. Curler still and staring at me in the doorway. And that skirt way too short. What will people think? Are you trying to embarrass the entire Sterling family? She pointed at my mini skirt. Absolutely livid. Maverick loved girls with long black hair, white dresses, that pure innocent look. His mom said being a Sterling wife meant following the rules. No showing shoulders or legs. Can't embarrass the family name. 2 years of marriage and I'd almost forgotten Vivian Carter have these gorgeous long legs that deserve to see daylight. I waste them seeing my silence, thinking I'd back down again. She started jabbing her finger at my nose. Right now, immediately go upstairs and change and get to the kitchen. We want a full American breakfast this morning. Hey, I lifted my hand, pushing her finger aside. Mrs. Sterling, let's talk business. What did you just call me? She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Vivian, have you lost your mind? Minutes later, I sat on the couch. Mrs. Sterling sat across from me. Still with messy curlers and that exhausted, sagging face, this usually elegant socialite had now lost her composure. For the third time. You want me to give you $1 million and then you'll divorce? Maverick, my sister-in-law. Harper also stared at me with contempt. Vivian, you're obsessed with my brother. You'd never actually leave him. I ignored her, speaking directly to Mrs. Sterling. He didn't come home last night. If I'm right, Celeste returned to the country yesterday. They were together all night long. Mrs. Sterling's face went through a rainbow of emotions. Harper suddenly squealed with delight. Oh, my God. Celeste is back. No wonder my brother was in such a good mood yesterday. Mrs. Sterling shot her a death glare. Burke quickly covered her mouth. After all, being unfaithful during marriage, not a good look. You've always loved her. Now you can finally be mother and daughter. $1 million isn't unreasonable, right? I tapped the table, sliding the divorce agreement toward her. Just say yes and I won't take a single penny of marital assets. Mrs. Sterling grabbed the papers. Sure enough, black and white. It said I'd leave with nothing. Not $1. But she looked at me suspiciously, not believing I'd give up so easily. Mom, what are you waiting for? This is amazing news. Say yes already. Harper kept pushing. She and Celeste were super close, which meant she never liked me anyway. Whatever. Before I tolerated her because she was family. But soon we'll be strangers. I don't care anymore. 10 minutes later, I had the money. Then I went upstairs and grabbed my already packed suitcase. Coming back down, basically the entire Sterling family was in the living room, including my usually stern, serious father-in-law. He actually been decent to me. Never made things difficult. Even helped out my family when they needed it. So when leaving, I only said goodbye to him. Dad, this is the last time I'll call you that. Take care of yourself. Your leg problems get worse in winter. Have the staff make you more soup. I saw the gray-haired man sigh softly. Then he waved me over in front of everyone. He gave me a card. This is another $1 million. Not much, but take it. I thought. Lost the love. Lost the husband, but I've got $2 million. I could count those zeros all day. My real dad would need 20 years to earn this much. I didn't refuse. I took it graciously. Thank you, Dad. Shameless Harper muttered under her breath. I was in a better mood now. Didn't want to argue with her. I pocketed the card. I said goodbye to my father-in-law. And rolled my suitcase straight out the door. 2 hours later. My signed divorce papers were delivered to Maverick's office. By his secretary. Mr. Sterling. Your wife had this sent over. She said, to let her know once you've signed. Maverick was busy, didn't even look up. Put it aside. I don't have time right now. Mr. Sterling, I really think you should look at this first. The secretary's voice was quiet. Maverick was annoyed. But when he saw those huge black letters spelling out divorce agreement, his pen froze mid-signature. He picked up the thin stack of papers. Slipped through them. His eyes landing on Vivian's signature at the bottom. But moments later, Maverick tossed the agreement back to his secretary. Call her. Tell her I'll be home at 8 tonight. But tonight. You're supposed to have that welcome dinner for Miss Celeste. Maverick's eyes narrowed. Make the call. The secretary didn't dare hesitate. Yes, sir. Too bad for him. I hadn't just blocked Maverick. I blocked everyone around him, too. Honestly, if his German Shepherd had social media, I would have blocked the dog, too. Mr. Sterling. Your wife seems to have blocked me. Maverick's face darkened further. He grabbed his phone and pressed Vivian's name. Poor guy. Didn't even know he was the first one. I blocked. Maverick put down his phone. Pulled out a cigarette and lit it. You can go. He dismissed the secretary. After finishing his smoke, Maverick tried to refocus on work. But Harper called. Bro. You can finally separate from that desperate Vivian. And be with Celeste. Aren't you excited? Isn't this amazing? Harper explained clearly what's going on. What is Vivian up to now? Maverick stood up irritably, loosening his tie. He was gone one night. And this woman had escalated to this level. Didn't she? Think about what would happen if he actually signed those papers. What would she do then, bro? Vivian asked Mom for $1 million. Then agreed to divorce you. She already left. She was smart enough to only take her personal stuff. Didn't touch anything from the Sterling house, bro. I gotta tell Celeste the good news. Harper was chattering happily when suddenly the call disconnected. Maverick grabbed his suit jacket and headed for the door. Where is Vivian right now? He asked his secretary. Sorry. Mr. Sterling. We don't know. Sorry, Mr. Sterling. Your wife blocked all our numbers. Maverick felt rage rising. But he maintained his composure. Didn't she say to call her back after signing? The secretary glanced at Maverick's expression. Your wife said, once you sign. Just meet her Monday morning at 9 at City Hall. She promises she won't be late. Maverick stood there, his face growing darker. Finally, he removed his glasses and handed them to his assistant. Find out where my wife is. Notify me when you have information. Yes, Mr. Sterling. Prepare for the meeting. Maverick turned and went back to his office. Today's project was extremely important. Would determine the Sterling Corporation's trajectory. For the next 5 years. He'd been working around the clock for days. Last night he pulled an all-nighter at the office to finish it. Vivian could throw her tantrum. But he couldn't play along. For Maverick, work always came first. Didn't care about the Sterling family drama. Didn't want to think about what Maverick was thinking either. Right now, I was in the apartment my dad bought me before marriage. Hugging my teddy bear and crying my eyes out. Vivian, haven't you cried enough? My best friend, Arya. Finally couldn't take it anymore. Handing me a tissue. I took the tissue. Wiped my tears and kept crying into my bear. I was divorced. I was only 25 years old. But I, Vivian Carter, was now a divorcee. My value had tainted. I'd probably get married again someday. But if I couldn't find someone richer than Maverick, Every socialite in the city would laugh at me forever. Let's go out tonight and clear your head. My sister's bar just opened. I heard it's packed with the hottest guys in town. I hesitated for like 2 seconds and agreed. I hadn't worn a sexy dress in 2 years and 1 month. The day I met Maverick for our arranged date, my dad's people literally dragged me there. I was only 22. Maverick was almost 30. So obviously I wasn't into it. Sure enough, when we met, it was July and he was wearing a full suit and tie, looking like he just stepped out of a boardroom negotiation. And me, I had pink highlights, wore a tube top and hot pants. My dad saw my pink hair and almost passed out. He tried to say nice things about me to Maverick, but couldn't even form complete sentences. Maverick didn't react much, though. He stood up and gentlemanly pulled out my chair. I didn't want to get married anyway, so I just did my thing, ate what I wanted, drink what I wanted, definitely not acting like a proper lady. He was the serious, no-nonsense type. I was young and loved having fun. So naturally I figured nothing would happen. But I didn't expect Maverick to ask me out. Several more times. My dad was thrilled, saying this marriage might actually work. But I wasn't interested in him at all. Then my dad said one sentence that changed everything. You don't like him? Well, your arch enemy, Whitney, is dying to marry him. She's already got people trying to set them up. I panicked immediately. Whitney liked him, wanted to marry him. Then I absolutely had to steal him. I started dating Maverick. Originally, I planned to just rub it in Whitney's face. But a few months later, I fell headfirst into love. I fell for Maverick Sterling. He calmly took control of everything about me. He even transformed me into the person my dad had dreamed of making me. Long black hair, always wearing dresses because he liked it. I happily changed until later. I found photos on his computer of him and Celeste from their college days. Turns out Maverick didn't love me with long black hair and white dresses. Turns out Maverick had his own cliché white moonlight too. But back then I was so madly in love with him, I didn't even have the courage to confront him. Besides, before Maverick and I got married, Celeste had already married someone else. So honestly, I always felt lucky. But now Celeste was divorced. She came back thinking about Maverick being with her last night, spending the entire night with her. I couldn't help crying again. Aria quickly dragged me to the closet, pulled out this super tight little black dress and shoved it at me. Then mysteriously produced new lingerie. Wear this. Look how skinny you've gotten. You're practically flat-chested now. I clutched the clothes, sniffling at Aria. Isn't this inappropriate at my age? Shouldn't I be a little more modest? Aria looked ready to roll her eyes into another dimension. Vivian, you're 25 years old. A gorgeous 25-year-old woman. If you want to be modest, wait until you're 52. Okay, fine. 2 25-year-old gorgeous women. One in black, one in white. Both in strapless bodycon dresses and stilettos, strutting into the club. At first I felt a little shy. I've been so proper and modest for 2 years. Suddenly being this hot and sexy felt uncomfortable. But after one drink, my mindset shifted. I'd already signed the divorce papers. Maverick probably couldn't wait to sign them, too. Monday we'd go to City Hall and we'd be completely done. When he suddenly agreed to that arranged marriage, it was probably because Celeste getting married had hurt him. My lips trembled. I fought back tears, let loose, even pulled my neckline down further, and dragged Aria onto the dance floor with slightly unsteady steps. Dance floor was packed with people dancing together. Soon I found that wild, uninhibited feeling. A cute guy came over to hit on me. I looked him over, thought he was pretty hot. Weirdly, his eyes kind of looked like Maverick's. I grabbed his collar. His hand immediately wrapped around my waist. Like everyone else on the dance floor, we started dancing together. I wasn't used to being this close to a strange man. I instinctively moved to push his hand away. But suddenly the music stopped dead. The silence in the club wasn't just quiet, it was heavy. It was the kind of silence that sucked the air out of your lungs. The pulsing bass that had been vibrating through the floorboards seconds ago was replaced by the sharp, rhythmic clack, clack, clack of dress shoes on concrete. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. And there he was. Maverick Sterling walked through the center of the dance floor, flanked by 4 security guards who looked like they ate dumbbells for breakfast. He was still wearing the suit from the office, though the tie was gone and the top button of his shirt was undone, exposing the hollow of his throat. His face was a mask of terrifying calm, but his eyes, dark, cold, and predatory, were locked onto me. The hot stranger, whose hand was on my waist, froze. He looked from me to the approaching storm, and self-preservation kicked in. He snatched his hand back as if I were made of burning coal. And Mr. Sterling, the guy stammered, backing away. I didn't know. I mean, she wasn't wearing a ring. Maverick didn't even glance at him. He stopped 2 feet in front of me. The air smelled of expensive tobacco and the distinct, sharp scent of winter wind clinging to his coat. Playtime is over, Maverick said. His voice wasn't loud, but in the dead silence of the club, it sounded like a gavel strike. Go to the car. My heart hammered against my ribs, part fear, part adrenaline, and a sickening amount of lingering attraction. But then I remembered the signed papers. I remembered Celeste. I remembered the $1 million check burning a hole in my purse. I threw my head back and laughed. It was a sharp, brittle sound. You're confusing me with someone who works for you, Mr. Sterling. I don't take orders from you anymore. I grabbed Aria's arm. Come on, let's go to another bar. This one's clearly under new, boring management. I took a step, but Maverick's hand shot out, clamping around my wrist. His grip was iron, yet his thumb instinctively brushed the pulse point on the inside of my arm, sending a jolt of electricity straight to my spine. Vivian, he warned, his jaw ticking. Don't make a scene. Me? Making a scene? I ripped my arm away, fueled by the alcohol and 2 years of suppressed rage. You shut down a nightclub because your ego couldn't handle your ex-wife dancing. Who's the drama queen here, Maverick? Ex-wife? He stepped closer, invading my personal space until I had to crane my neck to look at him. I haven't signed anything. And until I do, you are still Mrs. Sterling. And Mrs. Sterling does not grind on strangers in a skirt the size of a belt. Then sign them. I shouted, poking him hard in the chest. Sign the damn papers. Go home to your precious Celeste and let me live my life. The mention of Celeste made his eyes narrow. For a split second, genuine confusion crossed his face, but it was quickly replaced by irritation. He didn't argue. He just bent down, scooped me up, and threw me over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Maverick. Put me down. You Neanderthal. I pounded on his back, kicking my legs, but he didn't flinch. Aria, go home, he called out calmly to my terrified best friend as he marched toward the exit. My driver will take you. You can't kidnap me. I screamed as we exited into the cool night air. The paparazzi were already there, flashes blinding me. Maverick shielded my face with his hand, shoving me into the back seat of his black Maybach before sliding in next to me and locking the doors. Drive, he ordered. As the car pulled away, I scrambled to the other side of the leather seat, pressing myself against the door. I'm calling the police. Go ahead, Maverick said, pulling out his tablet and checking an email as if he hadn't just abducted me. Tell them your husband picked you up from a bar. See how fast they rush over. Where are you taking me? I hissed. If you think I'm going back to that house to listen to your mother and Harper call me a gold digger while you play house with Celeste, you're delusional. Maverick finally looked up from his tablet. The streetlights flickered over his sharp features, casting long shadows. We aren't going to the manor. And I wasn't with Celeste last night. I scoffed, crossing my arms. Liar. She's back. You didn't come home. Do the math. I was at the office, Vivian. We're acquiring the Grand Tech merger. I was in a boardroom with 12 lawyers and 3 pots of coffee until 5:00 a.m. I froze. The lie felt plausible. Maverick was a workaholic. But the seed of doubt was already a tree. It doesn't matter. Your mother offered me $1 million to leave. I took it. I took your dad's money too. I'm $2 million richer and one husband lighter. I'm done. Maverick went perfectly still. The temperature in the car seemed to drop 10 degrees. My mother did what? She bought me out, I said, lifting my chin defiantly. And I sold. That's how little this marriage means to me. I expected him to yell. I expected him to defend his mother. Instead, Maverick let out a low, dark laugh. He tossed the tablet aside and leaned toward me, trapping me against the door. His hand came up to touch my cheek, his thumb tracing my lower lip. You think you're worth only $1 million, Vivian? His voice was a ragged whisper, intimate and dangerous. That's an insult. If you wanted money, you should have come to me. I would have given you the world. But you don't get to sell us. There is no us. I tried to turn my face away, but I was trembling. We'll see, he murmured. The car slowed to a stop. We weren't at the Sterling Manor. We were at the Obsidian Tower, the ultra-private penthouse in the city center that Maverick used for business. We're staying here, he stated. Until you calm down. I'm not staying here with you. You are, he said, opening the door. Because tomorrow is Sunday. City Hall is closed. If you want me to sign those papers on Monday, you'll spend the weekend here. If you leave, I'll drag the divorce proceedings out for 10 years. I have the lawyers to do it. I glared at him, hating that he held all the cards. Fine. 2 nights. Monday morning, you sign, and I vanish. Deal, he lied. I knew he was lying. But I was exhausted, drunk, and emotionally drained. I walked into the Lion's Den. The Obsidian Tower was cold, modern, and smelled like Maverick, sandalwood and steel. He pointed me to the guest room, which was bigger than my entire apartment. I didn't sleep. I spent the night staring at the ceiling, thinking about the look on his face when I mentioned the money. Was he actually angry at his mother? Or was he just embarrassed that his wife could be bought so cheaply? The next morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee. I walked out to the kitchen, wearing one of Maverick's oversized shirts I'd found in the closet because I refused to put the club dress back on. Maverick was at the island, reading a newspaper. He looked annoyingly domestic. Eat, he said, pushing a plate of eggs and toast toward me. You look too thin. Stop pretending to care, I sat down, ignoring the food. I need my phone. I need to call my dad. Your father already knows you're here. I called him. Maverick took a sip of his black coffee. He agrees that you need a cooling-off period. You manipulated him. I told him the truth. That we had a fight and we're working it out. We aren't working anything out. Just then, the elevator pinged. The doors slid open, and a high-pitched voice shattered the morning calm. Maverick. Oh my God, are you okay? I heard you left the office early yesterday. Celeste. She walked in like she owned the place. She was wearing a white cashmere coat, her brown hair falling in perfect waves. She looked soft, fragile, and utterly fake. When she saw me sitting at the counter in Maverick's shirt, her step faltered. Vivian? She blinked, her big doe eyes widening. I thought. Harper said you left. I'm like a bad rash, Celeste, I said, picking up a piece of toast and taking a bite just to spite her. I keep coming back. Maverick didn't stand up. He didn't rush to hug her. He just turned his chair slightly. Celeste. I didn't give you the access code to this penthouse. Celeste bit her lip, looking hurt. Auntie Sterling gave it to me. She was worried about you. She said Vivian ran off with a bunch of money and humiliated the family. She walked over to Maverick, placing a hand on his shoulder. Mav, I'm so sorry you have to deal with this. You know, if you need someone to talk to. I'm here. Just like old times. I watched them, waiting for the pain to hit me. Waiting for the jealousy. But looking at her now, clinging to him while he sat there stiffly, I didn't feel jealous. I felt tired. Get your hand off me, Maverick said. The room went silent. Celeste froze. What? I said, get your hand off me. Maverick stood up, brushing his shoulder as if she had left dirt on it. And give me the key card my mother gave you. But. Mav. Tears welled up in her eyes instantly. It was a performance worthy of an Oscar. I just came to check on you. I know how hard it is to be with a woman who doesn't understand your world. We have history. We have history, Maverick corrected coldly. Past tense. Vivian is my wife. If she wants to divorce me, that's between us. But you walking in here and disrespecting her in her own home? Get out. My mouth fell open slightly. Celeste turned red, then pale. She looked at me with pure venom before masking it with a sob. I can't believe you've changed this much, she cried, running to the elevator. When the doors closed, I looked at Maverick. You didn't have to do that just to make a point. I didn't do it for a point, Maverick muttered, sitting back down. I did it because she's annoying. And she's not you. He looked at me, his eyes intense. Vivian, I never cheated. Not once. The photos you saw on my computer. Celeste sent those to me in a zip file titled, Alumni Reunion Ideas the day she got back. I didn't even open the folder until after you left. I deleted them. I gripped the edge of the counter. Your mother treats me like a dog. Harper hates me. You're always working. I'm lonely, Maverick. I'm 25 and I'm withering away in that mansion waiting for crumbs of your attention. The $2 million wasn't a payday. It was an escape ticket. Maverick stood up and walked around the island. He stood between my knees, placing his hands on the counter on either side of me, trapping me. Then we change the rules, he said fiercely. We move out of the manor. We cut off my mother's allowance until she learns respect. Harper gets sent to boarding school in Switzerland if she opens her mouth again. You want to work? Start a business. I'll fund it. You want to dance? We'll build a club. He leaned his forehead against mine. Just don't leave me. I fell in love with the girl with the pink hair who ate steak with her hands on our first date. I don't want the doll my mother tried to make you. I want you. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But 2 years of neglect don't vanish with one pretty speech. Monday, I whispered. City Hall. If you really love me, you'll sign the papers. Let me be free. If we're meant to be, woo me again. Date me. But I need to know I'm not a prisoner. Maverick pulled back, searching my eyes. He saw the resolve there. Fine, he said hoarsely. I'll sign. But I'm warning you, Vivian Carter. I'm going to chase you harder than I've ever chased any deal in my life. Monday morning, 9 a.m. City Hall. I wore a red dress. Not black for mourning, not white for purity. Red for fire. Maverick arrived in a charcoal suit. He looked like he hadn't slept. We sat before the clerk, the silence thick. He signed his name with a heavy hand. I signed mine with a flourish. It is done, the clerk said, stamping the document. I walked out onto the steps of City Hall, the winter sun hitting my face. I was divorced. I was free. Vivian, Maverick's voice came from behind me. I turned. He was standing there, hands in his pockets. Dinner tonight, he said. 7 p.m. The Sapphire Room. Mr. Sterling, I smiled, putting on my sunglasses. I'm a single woman now. My calendar is very full. You'll have to check with my assistant. You don't have an assistant. I'm hiring one with your dad's money, I winked. Call me in a week. Maybe I'll have an opening. I walked away, my heels clicking on the pavement, feeling lighter than I had in years. I didn't look back, but I could feel his gaze burning into me. The game was on. 3 months later. Vivian, the floral arrangements for the charity gala are a disaster. The lilies are wilting. Breathe, Aria, I said, pinning my phone between my ear and shoulder as I adjusted a mannequin. Swap them for white orchids. They look more expensive anyway. I was in the middle of my new studio. Vivid Designs. With the $2 million, I hadn't just gone shopping, I'd launched a high-end fashion and event planning brand. My scandalous divorce had actually been great PR. Everyone wanted to see what the rebellious ex-Mrs. Sterling was up to. My first major contract. The Sterling Foundation annual gala. Ideally, I would have refused. But business is business, and Maverick had outbid everyone else to hire my company. The door chimes rang. My father walked in, looking better than he had in years. The stress of the Sterling family looking down on him was gone. Vivi, he smiled. You have a visitor. He stepped aside, and in walked Mrs. Sterling, my ex-mother-in-law. She looked diminished. Her hair was perfect, her pearls were real, but her eyes were anxious. Mrs. Sterling, I said coolly, not stepping away from my work. To what do I owe the pleasure? Refunds are not available per the contract. I'm not here for a refund, she sniffed, glancing around the studio with disdain that she tried hard to hide. I'm here to talk about Maverick. He has a phone. Call him. He won't talk to me, she snapped, then her voice broke. He moved out, Vivian. He hasn't visited the manor in 3 months. He fired Harper from her internship. He cut my credit limit. I raised an eyebrow. Sounds like he's finally managing his finances responsibly. He's miserable, she cried. He works 20 hours a day. He's ruthless. The board is terrified of him. Celeste tried to visit him, and he had security ban her from the building. She took a step toward me, looking desperate. He only listens to you. You have to fix this. Tell him to come home. I finally put down the fabric swatches. I walked over to her, standing tall in my own space, built with my own ambition, and her money. You paid me $1 million to leave, remember? You said I was poisoning the family. Now that I'm gone, shouldn't you be celebrating? I made a mistake, she whispered, the words clearly tasting like bile. Celeste, she's not who I thought. She's demanding, she's lazy, and she's spending money we don't have. And Maverick hates her. That sounds like a you problem, I said. I'm just the hired help for the gala now. If you'll excuse me, I have work to do. Vivian. Goodbye, Mrs. Sterling. Please close the door on your way out. She left, defeated. I felt a petty sense of victory, but also a pang of worry. Maverick wasn't talking to his family. My phone buzzed. A text from Maverick. Maverick, I see my mother just left your shop. If she upset you, tell me, and I'll buy the building and evict her from the city. I smiled involuntarily. Me, she's fine. Just misses her ATM. Are we still on for Friday? Maverick, I wouldn't miss it. I'm wearing the tie you sent. We hadn't officially started dating again. We were in a weird limbo, a courtship. He sent flowers, not white roses, but wild, colorful bouquets. He showed up at my events just to stand in the back and glare at any man who looked at me. He was trying. The night of the gala was the social event of the season. The Sterling Manor ballroom was transformed, my design. Black velvet, gold accents, thousands of candles. Dark, romantic, and bold. I wore a dress of my own design, emerald green silk, backless, with a slit that went up to my thigh. When I walked in, conversation stopped. Maverick was at the head of the room, talking to a senator. He stopped mid-sentence. His eyes raked over me, dark and hungry. He excused himself and walked straight to me. You look dangerous, he murmured, kissing my hand. That's the point. Dance with me. People are watching, I whispered. Let them watch. He pulled me onto the floor. It was like the club, but different. No anger this time. Just gravity. We moved together perfectly. I missed you, he said against my ear. The house is empty. The silence is loud. You have your freedom. I don't want freedom. I want you. Suddenly, the microphone screeched. We turned. Celeste was on the stage, holding a champagne glass, clearly drunk. The band stopped playing. Everyone, she slurred. Let's toast to the happy couple. Maverick and the gold digger. The room gasped. Mrs. Sterling rushed toward the stage, but Celeste pushed her away. Oh, don't pretend, Auntie. You hate her too. You paid her to leave. And you. She pointed at Maverick. You used me. You used me to make her jealous in college, and now you treat me like trash. Maverick released me and walked toward the stage. He didn't look angry. He looked bored. He signaled to security. 2 guards stepped up. Celeste, Maverick said, his voice amplified by the acoustics of the silent room. You were never a pawn. You were a friend. But you became a parasite. You lied about your divorce settlement to get money from my father. You sold stories to the tabloids about Vivian. Celeste went pale. You know. I know everything, Maverick said calmly. I have the bank records. I have the emails. You're not just drunk, Celeste. You're a fraud. Escort her out. No. You can't. She screamed as they dragged her away. Maverick, I love you. The doors slammed shut. The room was deadly silent. Maverick turned to the crowd. He didn't apologize. He walked back to me, took the microphone from the stand near the band, and looked at me. My ex-wife, he announced to the room, is the only woman who ever loved me for me, not the name. I was a fool to let her go. And I plan on spending the rest of my life earning her back. He dropped the mic. He got down on one knee right there on the dance floor. He didn't pull out a ring. He pulled out a folded piece of paper. This is the deed to the Sterling Manor, he said. I transferred it to your name this morning. My mother lives there by your grace. I live there by your invitation. It's your house, Vivian. Your rules. I stared at the paper, then at his face. The arrogance, the grand gesture, the absolute insanity of it. You gave me a house. I gave you my home, he corrected. Will you take us back? I looked at Mrs. Sterling, who was pale and trembling in the corner. I looked at Harper, who was looking at her shoes. I looked at my dad, who was giving me a thumbs up. I took the paper. I have some renovation ideas, I said, a slow smile spreading across my face. First rule, no curlers at the breakfast table. Maverick grinned, a real, boyish grin I hadn't seen in years. He stood up and kissed me, deep and passionate, in front of the entire city's elite. Whatever you say, boss. 1 year later. Push. You're doing great, Vivi. Shut up, Maverick, or I will divorce you again. The delivery room was chaotic. Maverick was holding my hand so tight I thought he might break it. He looked more terrified than I was. When the cry filled the room, the tension snapped. The nurse cleaned the baby and handed him to Maverick. The stern, cold CEO of Sterling Corp looked down at the tiny bundle with awe. Tears streamed down his face. He has your nose, he whispered. Thank God, I panted. If he had your stubbornness, we'd be in trouble. Maverick kissed my forehead, sweaty and gross as I was. I love you, Vivian. Thank you for coming back. I looked at my husband, then at our son. The long road, from the arranged marriage to the divorce, the club, the fight, and the reconciliation, had led here. I didn't come back, I murmured, closing my eyes. I just finally arrived. Maverick smiled, his finger being gripped by the baby's tiny hand. Outside, the snow was falling, but inside, everything was warm. The Sterling family had new rules now. And the first one was love.